Bodywell is not blocking, not shielding, not harmonizing the waves. Crazy part is that the safety regulation didn't change since 1996.
Why don't the companies just build this into the product so that everyone's safe?
We're talking about extremely more expensive than China, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan. We're putting the quality and the science before anything else.
Is there scientific evidence supporting Bodywell? Hey everyone, welcome to the Bodywell Podcast. My name is Liel. Today I'm here with Dror Levy, CEO and Head of Research at Bodywell. And we're going to cover some of the most popular questions that people have so that you can be completely informed about everything related to the radiation and our products themselves. And we're going to get into some of the juiciest questions, so stick around. How does Bodywell work?
Well, we have to say first what it's not doing. Yeah. So Bodywell is not blocking, not shielding, not harmonizing the waves. Bodywell is via modulation, and the modulation itself, it's mean that we're playing with it, right? So if you do anything to do something to that wave, by definition, you will change the data. Mm-hmm. And we know that our device is dynamic. In other words, if it's lost data or reception, it's amplifying its power to compensate for that. And the crazy thing is it's up to 1,000 times. So somebody that actually don't know, don't understand, and actually try to do something like that, actually expose himself to much higher radiation. And again, by the way, blocking radiation is not, you don't need technology. It's very simple. Almost any kind of radiation in nature has a form of material in nature that actually going to block it. What we actually do, and this is shown in our studies, is we interact with the body to mitigate, to reduce the interaction of the electromagnetic with our biological system and affect them in a harmful way. And the way we're doing it, it's in a very, we have technology that is proprietary to us. Nobody has this technology, which it's called imprinted information, and it's basically give the information to the body and the right information, so then it's less affected by the noise or the chaotic information that is gaining from radiation.
One of the most common questions that we also get when people purchase the product is, where do we place the chip? Doesn't matter, under the case, over the case, all those things.
Yeah, so the good thing about our technology, again, it's that it's interacting with the body, not the device, and not with the EMF itself, right? So for that reason, actually, you have the flexibility. In other words, and this was part of, people don't realize how, after you have the technology and the science, to make a product, it's just another level of ingenuity. You know, you need to make it practical. You need to make it very easy. And this is really what we're very proud of. So our biochip is less than 1 millimeter. So in a way, it can be underneath the case. If you choose to do it, it can be above the case to apply to the case. It can be anywhere in the back. And again, we talk about it that we don't block radiation, so the position of it is nothing to do. People think, oh, it's where the antenna, or it's have to be between me and whatever. No, this is just need to be close to you. The most important part of it, regardless if you place it on your tablet or laptop, which usually you have the options to put it behind the screen, or you have the option to put it on the surface of the keyboard. Or, if you mostly use on your lap or whatever, you can put it even underneath. The reason why you can, the main factor is your proximity to the body, or more precise to the area that's mostly exposed. The reason why we, on any device that come in direct contact with the body, there is additional concern of what we call local exposure, right? So we're concerned about the area, let's say, of the head when you talk, or your genital when it's in your pocket, and so forth, right? When the body will apply to the device itself, so in a way, if it's close to your head, it's also, the device itself, the technology close to your head and mitigating the damage over there. If it's in your pocket, it's continuing doing whatever we're supposed to do. So again, it's very simple. The proximity to the body, it's what counts, if you want to be more precise. But in general, it can be anywhere on the device itself, and it will be as effective.
Perfect. Another really popular question is, how long does the biochip last? Like, if it expires after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, this is a very funny, and this is where we are very different from most of the companies. You know, originally my marketing team told me, listen, let's tell them 1 year, let's tell them 6 months so they can buy more. I said, listen, marketing, it's marketing. I will never jeopardize or give misinformation. And unfortunately for my marketing team, the Bodywell do not have expiration date. The reason is because it's in the technology. When we do the activations, it's become part of the device. Again, we don't use circuitry, we don't use electricity, and therefore it's like a magnet. It's never loses properties, right? So the simple question, there is no expiration. But I want you to know that we even went way above that. We actually manufacture in our own manufacturing facilities in Switzerland, and we do something called anodizations to the product. So it's also extremely resilient. It's scratch-proof, waterproof. I mean, what kind of products other people says that it's sensitive to water, whatever, where you need to sanitize your phone, when you need to clean your phone. With our products, you have no problem. So there is no expiration. It's not need replacement, and it actually can transfer between devices.
Awesome. Another really important question is, people try to test the biochip at home with, EMF meters and RF meters, stuff like that, and they sometimes they don't see the results that they want. So the question is, can people test the biochip with an EMF meter at home?
Yeah, this is a really big thing, and it's, to be honest with you, it's kind of I always, when somebody calls me and says, oh, I test your product and it's not working, I said, listen, I mean, what did you test, right? And then, those EMF meter tester, forget about their capacity and, and any testing. Even when you go doing X-ray, the guy actually doing the X-ray don't allow to tell you what's actually the results, because you always have to have an expert looking, identifying, see, and everything else. But this is a really funny part, because like we emphasize all the time, we're not blocking radiation, so we have no interaction. Actually, our biggest achievement, which we post online, it's a release test in a lab and everything that actually show we don't do that. So you don't need to do any kind of testing that we don't block. This is really our biggest achievement, because like we said before, blocking it is actually increasing the radiation up to 1,000 times. So you don't want to do that. So obviously you cannot measure it, but being serious about it, our technology is in such level that you don't think you buy something for $60 in Amazon that you can be able to test. It's almost like if somebody says, well, I want to take my Mercedes and do a crash test. I mean, you don't do that. You rely on the facilities, the establishment, the regulations in order to do the testing.
The professionals.
In the way that it's validated. We actually hire a separate expert, which is Professor Moshe Einat, which is one of the top experts in the world. People can Google on him. And he's actually the one that went over, look on the testing, and look on the rest of the data in order to put an executive summary to give you a real understanding of the results. So, you cannot measure, our device by EMF meter or tester, because it's almost like trying to telling you, measuring photons and try to say they don't make sound. So
let's leave it to the peer-reviewed scientific studies.
Exactly. We invest a lot of money to do the validation and the testing. And again, each testing, especially when we talk about biologicals and very high level of engineering, and it's required to do it in a certain way. Just people don't realize how everything is so fragile, and so like we talk about pH or whatever. I mean, even when you measure pH, it's not something you can do at home, because the light, the moist, everything can change the results. So it's much more complicated, and we really went to the highest level here in the United States to make those testing. And I think people need to trust, not us, but trusting the information and the validation that we put forward.
Yeah. Okay, another question. Is the biocard better than the biochip?
Okay, yeah, that's a very frequent question, and people don't understand the difference. And let me just telling you that we use the same technology, right? So the biocard and the biochip actually contain exactly the same technology. The difference is that there is devices that we come in direct contact, and radiation by definition has a proximity element, right? So when you're getting close to it, it has a little bit different of that interaction, which is what we spoke with before. It's that localized area, right? So the biochip designs for any device, pay attention, only device that come in direct contact with the body and usually are not stationary. Because like I said, if you have your phone and you talk like this and you put it in the pocket or you put it in each one of those locations we want to address, and this is what's the biochip design. Another point, I think somebody even asked me, well, can I put the biocard on the phones? And the reason why we not recommend it, it's probably going to do some good, but we're not recommend it because, and again, we're dealing with different phones, a different amount, so it's very hard to keep in line with everybody. But in general, if you're putting a big piece of metal next to the phone or covering a serious section of it, you actually bring it to that maybe interference and block it. So we don't want it. We designed this is very effective. So we designed the biochip to be small enough, which almost not visible because you can place it anywhere. You can proudly put it in because this is a really a good things to put and show. But it's really like can be it's designed to be not interference at all with the phone itself and do its job as effective. The biocard is actually amazing thing. We actually says biochip is per device and biocard is per person. The reason is that our concern from EMF is not limited just to the phone or the wireless device that we hold. I mean, everybody around us has their own phones. We have Wi-Fi, we have 5G, we have cellular network, we have ELF, which is power line. We have smart meters. We have a lot around us with sources that emit radiation, right? And the biocard as a per person, so it's designed to be on you, right? Either on your pocket, purse, bag, whatever, pocket, whatever,
wallet.
Whatever you feel comfortable. It's a credit card size card, but it's designed to address those biologicals that the whole body not the local exposure that that biochip does. And we really recommend it because especially for people that feel we talk about there is the repair and recover elements of our body, and we usually the biocard, not like the biochip which is attached to the device. You can have it when you go to sleep. It's have to be in what we call arm reach, right? So
it needs to be close to your body.
Close to your body. So anybody that telling you, any company that says they cover an area or
a room,
this cannot be really true, unfortunately, because again, if it's interact with your body, it have to be close to the body. So there is no reason to put the biochip or the biocard, let's say, next to the router or whatever. We actually can save you all that stuff. Instead of worrying about everything around you, the card is on you and it's protecting you, and especially if you're using it at night, that's going to help your body to be in that repair and recover and do the real benefits.
Yeah, I think a quick analogy I just thought about is like the biocard is kind of like a helmet, right? So your head is protected no matter where you fall, compared to going and like trying to pad the whole room. Then,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of give you that protection that
always on.
And I think and that's again what I recommend is like for the devices that we spoke before, it's the biochip and the biocard, and they really complement each other. So you're getting like a more comprehensive protection. You don't need to worry about anything. Whatever somebody they can use it in really in any place that they are and feeling that the environment is full with EMF.
Perfect. Next question. Can I use multiple biochips on one device?
We addressed it a little bit just before. People may be seeing my phones that I have few of them, but I do some other experiments from different, adhesive and how it's connect and so forth. But we really recommend one again, just because, we don't want to interfere with the operation of the phones. And our testing definitely showed that the one is effective enough on the one device.
Awesome. Next question: is Bodywell safe for children and pets?
Yes, I mean the simple answer is yes, because we all biological creatures, right? So and because we interact biologically and we bringing the balance, we not like medicine or anything else. We don't just adding something, but we bring information that allow the body to be centered. So and we the only one that were tested the TRP TIS test in RF exposure lab, which basically. Like I said, if think about it, that the FCC, why we have this regulatory body is because they're supposed to allocate frequency to different industry, medicine, communication, aviation, appliances, and the reason is because interaction between frequency can be a problem, right? So imagine if somebody don't really know. That's why we have the certification of the TRP-TIS test. Imagine that you do something you either affect the frequency or you creating some kind of frequency, and somebody have heart paste or hearing aids or anything like that. So our certification says we are safe because we're not interfering with anything, and we have a valid certifications on that. So we definitely not just safe, but we actually can very beneficial to pets and kids, and mostly the vulnerable one.
Okay, I'm going to get into one of the biggest questions that personally I've seen, and it's a really interesting one. Why people are asking if we see this evidence that it's harmful, there are ways to mitigate it. Obviously, we see the results. Why don't the companies ahead of time just build this into the product so that everyone's safe?
This is literally a $1 billion questions. And why I say $1 billion? Because the industry invest over $1 billion the last 10 years to not doing it. And probably we will be able to elaborate it really, because we can bring a lot of the information and to the public, so they were going to be aware.
Yeah, it's actually going to be in our next episode.
Yeah, so we're going to go in details, and we're going to show you amazing, like really insane kind of information to understand. But to be short, let's start with that. No industry wants to, the industry of cell phone is to sell cell phones, not to sell safety, not to sell anything like that, right?
Yeah.
And so the only way, and any kind of interaction with other technology that either mitigate or will reduce, by definition, will either limit them or you're going to cost them a lot of money, right? And so they don't need to do it because they're controlling the regulatory body.
Yeah,
right?
if they're not regulated, why would they just do it?
Yeah, and we always know, even in cars industries or any kind of industry, you see that the safety elements is always have to be regulated from two reasons. The first, because safety cannot really sell, right? So if today cars didn't have a safety regulations, and a young person come to buy a car and they can tell him, okay, airbags is $6,000 and ABS is $10,000. He will prefer to do a big wheels, leather seats, and whatever, and a better exhaust.
It's not a sexy option.
Yeah, it's very hard to sell safety, right? And that's why there is regulations. But unfortunately, the industry, which, like you mentioned, we're probably gonna do a whole setup on that. They lobbying over $100 million a year, and there is something called OpenSecret.org. People can go and see how much they lobbying, and they have revolving doors, so they control the whole mechanism, and it's allowed them to maintain. The crazy part is that the safety regulation didn't change since 1996, and when we say 1996, I think it's based on research that done even like 10 years before, right? And so that's the problem, because as long as they have these safety regulations, it's give them a blanket of protection, immunity, right? Because if somebody's suing them, say, well, we comply with the safety, right? They don't tell you that they control it and they surpass it and they hide it.
Does the BioCard protect multiple people at once?
Yeah, I got some this the BioCard. The short answer is yes. Even though we recommend the BioCard per person, but in theory at least, if you're watching TV and you have hand rest and both of you putting your hands next to the card, yeah, I mean it's gonna be effective on both of you guys. But again, the idea was that the card should be on you wherever you go, and
Just in case one guy moves away far from you. So.
yeah, and there is elements that we, like anything else, when you use it more, it's becoming more effective because don't forget it's interacting with your body. So it's not, I prefer not people do it as a sporadic, use, but having in the body. And when they use it more, they actually feel more that effect.
Yeah. So it's you can share, but ideally everyone should have their own.
Yes.
Okay. Next question is a good one. What sets Bodywell apart from competitors?
I will address competitors just because they're claiming something similar. I don't think really Bodywell has competitors per se. Nobody use really our technology. And just to be honest, I didn't check all the people that's selling some stuff or whatever. But let's start with the basics. And the basics says, we are, overdated just here in the United States as an American company. This is important. People don't realize how important it is because when you're dealing with anything biologically or anything like that, there is liabilities, right? When you have claims or whatever. And the first thing I will say that a lot of our competitors have companies either offshore, PO box, in the different countries. And I don't believe that if you sell, 90% of your products or even more to the American public, you're actually somewhere when nobody can find you. So that's going to be the first things that and you if somebody can check on us, we actually our facilities in Florida the last decade, we have the same officers, we have the same people. So this is just show the establish of the obviously going back research and stuff like that, right? So that's going to be the first thing. The second thing is that we have done all the studies. Forget about the level of the studies, right? But all of them done in the United States. It's very easy, very cheap actually, to find somebody that give you opinion or studies from places that nobody know. I always suggest people that say, well, I saw they have also studies. I says, just go check the information, check the address, Google map it, see where it's located. If it's look normal to you that this kind of university or facility or institution is actually located over there. Look on some of the people that mention over there. Today, Google, you can Google them and see, did they just appear and disappear for that study, or did they have, more robust presence, in the industry? And so we have really, really the highest level of rigorous studies, which again, it's also very comprehensive. It's not address just one thing and that's it. And lastly, we're the only one that perform this with alpha exposure, which validate our this is a third party FCC accredited lab that validated our technology. And then on top of everything else, we manufacturing in Switzerland, right? So it just show the level of our commitment and believe in the products. We invest so much more money before we did even 1 cent, just so we putting the quality and the science really before anything else.
So another one of the most popular questions people are asking is there scientific evidence supporting Bodywell?
Is there scientific evidence supporting Bodywell? I mean, this is really what Bodywell stands for. We don't really have almost anything else other than that, right? Our foundation is really start with the scientific, with the highest level backing of the claims. So we didn't really start with just generic claims. We, like I said, we first produced the evidence that is actually work, and then we went through to the scientific community, if you said, to actually explain how it's doing it. That's why it's doing it, and we did it in university in New York City. We did it with RF exposure. We did everything that the books, and nobody have this comprehensive testing and supporting evidence to actually what we're doing. And to be honest with you, is not really everything that we actually did, right? So there is a lot of other elements of our technology that we implemented and we're testing, and we're in the middle of research.
Yeah.
We don't allow to talk on everything, but eventually, people realize that our technology implemented in such a way that it's can affecting so much more, and it's really has the real backup and substantial validations, which makes sense for us.
Yeah, and I think the best thing about us specifically is our transparency. So everything we've done, you can just go to our website and see the studies for yourself and really look into it if that's what you're interested in. Great. Next question. Does the BioCard work in cars, like electric cars or Teslas and stuff like that?
Yes, I just want to clear some things about cars in general. So and remember, we designed to really we worry about that transmission of the information technology, because we cannot block it with it, right? Because it's have to get to your phone. In cars, it's what's really people concerned. It's mostly can be done, like I said, if you have a big battery, you can put the material that actually will block significant amount of that electromagnetic radiation from the battery, right? So, but BioCard is definitely recommended for electric cars, and we always, somebody if don't want to put it on himself, definitely if it's going to be on the armrest or stuff like that, that's definitely recommended, because again, in the cars you have much more than just the battery, and this is actually true not just for electric cars. Today our cars are extremely communicative machines and have a lot of technology that it's that condense in a very close area. So it's definitely the BioCard is recommended for the cars and electric cars in general.
Great. Here's a really, really popular one. People are asking, why is Bodywell so expensive? I can infer that they're probably, as soon as they learn about this problem, they probably go to like their normal routes of, I don't know, Amazon or whatever, and then you see a bunch of really cheap products there. And when you compare it to us, then yes, we are much, much more expensive. And I think people should get like a good explanation.
Yeah, this is actually a good point, because expensive is also in relation to something relative. And yeah, if you compare it to what you have some solution in Amazon or Alibaba for that matter, we are much more expensive. But let's put everything in context, right? Think about it that you're going to a restaurant and you might spend $50 to $100, right? You go to hotels for one night, it's going to cost you, at minimum, $100 or more. So you're going to do massage or whatever. All those things will cost you a lot more money.
For an hour.
For an
hour.
A
night.
Yeah, for very temporary. On the other hand, we provide one of the most, I would say, that's going to be part of your well-being, right? It's like we said before, it's not expired. It's an investment in your wealth and then what you compare it to, how much it costs to be sick. Forget about whatever, but if people wants to know really why it's expensive, or at least why it's cost, and we even have like some kind of posting or advertising that says we're proud to be most expensive. And then, let me elaborate on that, because some people see it as a kind of challenging. But I can tell you that almost on every junctions, from the beginning, from the manufacturing elements, to choose the machinery, to choose the people, to choose the place, to choose the university, to choose on every junction, we have a lot of an option.
Yeah.
And we insist, when I've been asked, we says we want the best.
No compromise.
And you know what? It was funny enough. Always the best was the most expensive. I don't know why, but I guess this is the nature of those things.
Yeah.
Think about it. We manufacture in Switzerland, but this is the most by far, we don't talk more 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. We're talking about extremely more expensive than China, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan,
Yes,
right?
the top level
And,
in the
and,
world.
and, and everybody tell me why you don't do it over there. Well, unfortunately, if you sell something that's coming from those areas, because think about it, we can have the best scientists, best work, best study, best testing. But if the product itself manufactured in a level that the quality is not there, the precision is not there, it's worth nothing.
They can ruin everything.
Yeah. So that's why we insist that the manufacturer is going to be in the best, which end up to be the most expensive, right?
And consistent.
Yeah. And then when we went to new university, even in the United States, we can choose really a lot less expensive alternative. Right? Forget about it if they offer us institution of whatever research in Estonia or somewhere in places that nobody even know how to spell it, right? But we insist. We say we don't care. We care about where is the best people in that specific area. I mean, Dr. Krinker and Professor Gogedosh, they cited like in the IEEE like multiple times, right? They are really the people that can tell you about those
Most
things.
qualified.
Right, and you know what? It was the most expensive, and when we actually even when we did the productions and the level of precision and the packaging and the service and even out to the delivery in our facilities, everything done not to save money but to give the best solution. We are the only company that providing an expert that can, which is mostly me, answering people, addressing their concern, talking them to the same level. And the reason is because we didn't choose to be, we choose to be the best. We choose to be the most qualified and quality product.
Yeah.
And I think our customer appreciate that. The real customer appreciate that. They don't see it as expensive. We actually can be much more expensive. But they appreciate this is what we did. And how we choose, we did it on every cent we invest, that we have our customer in mind, that they're going to get the best product, best production, and best support for the technology.
At the end of the day, we're talking about people's health here, right? It's not like quality of your T-shirt, like which material it's made of. It's like your health. It's which the most important thing. You know, if somebody has God forbid, a life-threatening situation and they need a surgeon, they're not going to go for like, he's a little bit more expensive and he's cheaper, he's the more affordable solution. No, he's going to go, I want to live my best life, I want to be healthy, I'm going to go to the best of the best. And I think that's really what Bodywell is meant to stand for.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned, you quote somebody that says, when you're healthy, you have a lot of wishes. When you're sick, you have only one wish.
Yeah, the exact quote is.
And this is really unfortunate. Like we talk about safety, how hard it is to sell it, but if you think about it, your health, you really appreciate it when you lose it or when you jeopardize. So that's a very important kind of the part of awareness that we want to raise.
Yeah, healthy person has 1,000 wishes and a sick person only has one.
Yes.
This guy said, I heard only ionizing radiation is dangerous. Is it true?
This is really, I don't think, I think it's, I cannot explain it other than it's been directed like that. Somebody actually told everybody to focus on something which is not related.
Yeah.
We start with asking, is cell phone safe? Who cares what kind of technology, right? I don't want to get to the technical elements of ionizing and non-ionizing, but we have all the facts that actually, I mean, if I want just to debunk it right on the UV, the non-ionizing UV is already common knowledge that is do a direct DNA damage and cancer, skin cancer. So that by itself says, what you're talking
Sunlight,
about, right? But this is really off subject. It's like somebody says, well, I know that protein is very healthy. Well, the venom for the snake is also protein and can kill you in a few seconds. So it's just not a serious argument.
How does it protect you from RF when RF is spread out in all directions in a spherical shape? Not to mention, the only way you make it safe is to cancel it with a metal enclosure, which in turns cancel your signal anyways.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
obviously this guy has not seen our content.
yeah. This is definitely go to that blocking, shielding, whatever. And again, our technology has nothing to do with that. So it's interacting with the body. As long as it's in close proximity to the body, it will be effective to mitigate those effects.
Okay. I've seen this one a few times as well. This guy says, I'm not saying that some radiation can be harmful, but what about the person sitting next to me on the bus using their phones? Does it block that too? Literally everyone has a phone. There's Wi-Fi everywhere. Microwaves used for communication. It seems like you might be able to take care of 1% of the radiation from your own phone, but the entire world is filled with radiation.
Well, again, this is when you have the biochip on your device, it's actually protecting you. Remember, we said it's not really protecting from the device, right? So it's interacting with your body. So regardless of at that point where you're getting it, you can't protect it. This is go back to what we talked about before. We definitely recommend the BioCard as a comprehensive protection, as a complemented. But regardless, we don't have something that actually interact with the device itself. So that's why it's not limited to the effect to the device itself, but any other effects from the environment.
Yeah, and I think this is the most genius part about our products with Bodywell is that because you're impacting your body and not the devices, so you don't have to go and put Band-Aids on the whole world, right? Because if you just take care of yourself, then anywhere you go, you will be covered.
Yeah, and I think this is a really great point, because what we concern, again, go to the facts. Are we concerned that there is ionizing or non-ionizing radiation? We care about our health, right? We care about our well-being. So if our products address it, we cross generation, we cross devices, because the human are interact the same for 1G, 5G or 6G that's going to come. It's exactly the same, interacting with this brand or the other brands. It just go beyond, because it's addressing the real problem of what our concern, which is our own health and well-being.
Yeah. The last question somebody has just regarding like our return policy. So we have a 90-day money-back guarantee. So for any reason,
Yeah, I just want to, again, just so we have to put things in context. But we never reject anybody that have any problem. We have money-back guarantee, no question asked. In other words, if you're not satisfied for whatever reason, you're going to get your money back. Now, some people says, oh, you have a trick, because if you don't peel it, how you can test it, and if you don't test it, how you can return it. And that's not true. Actually, like I said, in order for our device to work, it's not need to be adhere or using the adhesive. So if somebody has doubt, he wants to test it, we always recommend even to put it, just place it between the case and the phone, or even attach it to the phone. I mean, some people told me, this is a laptop or tablet from the school, so they don't want to attach it. So you don't have to. It's effective. Even if you put it next to it, you're going to be fine. And this is also true for that testing. If somebody still have doubts, I always recommend our customers to investigate, educate themselves, ask questions even before. But if you want to do it after, you can do it. Just place it without using it. If you're not happy, you're not satisfied, you can return it, you get your money back.
Yeah. The adhesive just makes it a little bit more convenient, because that way you don't have to care about losing it or something. But if you are skeptical or something, you can just keep it near the device.
There is no problem. We always says you have nothing to lose
and everything to gain.
Your health to gain.
Yeah. Okay, guys. That's it for this episode for these frequently asked questions. Of course, if there's anything else that comes to mind, please challenge us. We like that. Jor will be available to answer any questions, whether it's in your comments, on the phone, on email, any way you guys want. We're here almost 24/7 to answer all your questions, so feel free to contact us. support@bodywell.com. You have also the phone number on the screen, and that's going to be it. Do you have anything else to add before we end it?
Yeah. I mean, the one thing sometimes people ask me, because again, this is related to some of the ads we do, and they say, why you mentioned that celebrity buying it, how it's make your product better. And I have to tell you that on a personal level, I do. Even though I'm taking almost every. If somebody wants to talk to me, I'm talking with them on the phone and explaining everything. But I'm getting a lot of calls from celebrities representative or celebrities head of stuff and stuff like that. And what I learned from those celebrities, obviously they don't have to be contained like everybody else. They less influence. Their physician is personal. They have a lot of that extra level that there is somebody for them that do the investigative, the checking, and most of them are either very educated or at least have the capacity. And when I talk to them and they convince, they buying, a lot. I can tell you they can buy a lot. And this is actually what we want to address to the other people.
Yeah.
I mean, those people that buying, they do your homework a little bit in the highest level. They have the funds, they have the resources, they have the things to do it. And because they buying it after they do all the stuff, this is just means something for you guys also.
Yeah, and just to be completely transparent, like as far as us, we would love to have celebrities, people with big influence to support us and use our products, because at the end of the day, our mission is to have as many people as possible learn about this problem and ways to protect themselves for. So I think it's in everyone's best interest.
Yeah, I think it's really irresponsible if you know about products that can do good, if you know about products that can help somebody, right? Especially when we see around us people, and we know how devastating it is to have sickness and losing your well-being. It's almost like if you know about it, it's your obligation. It's your responsibility to share it with others. You know what I mean? And I think this is part of the movement that we try to create. That people are going to be aware of it, and not at least when you're aware, you educate it. It's motivate you to investigate and to find solution.
Awesome. Thank you so much.